2022 has just come to an end, and I have to say that last year has been one of the most challenging years for me, financially speaking. As you probably know by now, I live by myself, which means that I have no one else to split all of my monthly costs with. I live on what is considered to be, for the standards of the country, a pretty low income. And as we all know, the last couple of years have been definitely challenging for everyone out there because there has been a global crisis on multiple levels, and all of the tidal wave effects have been bringing some pretty big changes. Let's talk about COVID, or us Europeans. There has been a war going on in Europe, in Ukraine. It's been almost a year, and there's the climate crisis. So there are so many things happening at once, and everything is getting more and more expensive by the day. Each and every one of us had to face different changes and face a new reality of things, while sadly our salaries stay the same. Despite everything, last year I was able to still successfully save some money. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how. And no, before you freak out, this video has nothing to do with cryptocurrency and investment stuff. I'm gonna leave that to experts. I'm talking about very simple things, but still very effective things that everyone can do. All you need are just the right habits. My number one tip is, of course, what else could you expect from me, is to budget. Thorough budgeting. I said this so many times already, and I keep standing by it, because the most effective way, in my opinion, to start saving money successfully is to know exactly how much money is getting into your pocket and out of your pocket. What budgeting means is to take a look at your regular recurring expenses, to prioritize your other expenses, and to plan all of your expenses accordingly. You can do it your way. It doesn't matter how you do it, really. Like, you can use a digital spreadsheet and personalized categories. You can use an app, or you can use pen and paper like I do. It doesn't matter how you do it. The thing that matters is to do it and find a system that works for you and your own needs. The goal is to know how much money you earn, how much money you spend, and more importantly, how you spend it. Without these three pieces of information, I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of saving that you will be able to do. In this way, once you start budgeting, you will be able to adjust your expenses, or just, adjust your spending habits if needed. You can be prepared in case of emergency expenses, and you can make sure that you never spend more than what you actually earn, which ultimately is the goal of budgeting and saving itself. My second tip is something connected to the first one, and it's very simple, but trust me, it works like a charm, which is to set up your monthly budget starting from a lower income. I do this every single month, and it works wonders. Basically, whenever I sit down at the beginning of each month to set up my monthly budget, I never consider the whole income. I never consider the entire amount of my incomes. I start considering a lower income. In this way, no matter what happens, I have automatically some money that is going straight into my savings account. Something very important that I learned in 2022 is that it doesn't really matter how much I save each month. The thing that really matters is that despite everything, I'm still able to put some money into my savings every single month. My third tip is probably, of all of the tips that I'm sharing in this video, my favorite, which is the things I haven't bought jar. Why jar? Because I have so many glass jars laying around. It's insane, people. You don't have to use a jar to do this one. You can use a fancy pouch, a drawer, a basket, an envelope. You do you. I use jars. I started to do this thing years ago, but 2022 was the first time ever that I did this thing for an entire year. Basically, this is how it works. Whenever I felt like I wanted to buy something, or I was thinking to buy something, and then I made the conscious choice not to buy that thing, I took the money that I would have spent if I would have bought that thing, and I put it in this jar. I also noted down on a little piece of paper what the item was and how much I would have paid for it, just to have a little bit of a reference. But yeah, this is basically what I did for an entire year. There might have been a couple of things that I've forgotten to include in here, but every time I made this conscious choice not to buy something, I put the money in here, and it might have been something very small and apparently insignificant, like an unnecessary snack when I was at the grocery store, or something much more substantial, like, for example, a trip to Portugal that I was really dreaming to do and hoping I would be able to do, and then all things considered, it was much savvier not to do. Just with this thing alone, just with the jar alone, in 2022, I was able to save almost 900 euros. Impressive, right? Number 4 is something that I've never been exactly super up to date with or major with, because I've never been a huge fan, or I've never really thoroughly liked the idea of having different customer accounts or customer loyalty cards and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about coupons and cashback programs. I never really paid a lot of attention to them, and I never really thought that they could make a huge difference. But then last year, I sort of realized, what if I sign up for customer cards in stores where I actually buy things regularly from, things that I actually need? And by having this customer card or customer account, I can actually have access to coupons and special discounts. And that's exactly what I did. I've taken a look at some of the stores that I buy most regularly from. In my case, for example, Lidl. I buy 95% of my groceries from Lidl. DM or Rossmann, these are drugstores. I signed up for their customer cards and I started using coupons. And let me tell you, I love it. I use coupons whenever it's possible, whenever there's something that I actually need. And of course, whenever it makes sense for me to use coupons, meaning that if I have a coupon for 20% on nail polish, I won't buy nail polish just because I have a coupon for it if I know that I don't use or wear nail polish in the first place. I hope this makes sense. But if used wisely, coupons can be a huge help. What seems like a very small and apparently insignificant 10% discount, let's say on hand soap today. It's just a tiny amount, but it does add up at the end of the year. And you want to take advantage of that. And the same goes for cashback programs. Sign up for them and use them in stores where you actually buy your things regularly from anyways. My 5th tip is something that is similar to the jar that I mentioned before. And yes, it is another jar, but this is the spare coins / spare cash jar. This is not something that necessarily is going to make you save 10,000 euros in 6 months. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But again, everything does add up. Basically, every time that I have some spare change in my wallet or my pockets or a 5 euro bill, I stick it in this jar. And finally, my 6th tip is something that I realized more than ever in 2022. Stop relying on convenience, because convenience does not make me save money. What I mean by stop relying on convenience is to take the time to make some proper research and to buy things where they're actually cheaper. I know this sounds super obvious, but more often than not, we tend to rely on convenience a lot. We buy things in a store instead of the other store because it's more comfortable, it's faster, it's easier, and all of that. Well, let me tell you, convenience does not make you save money at the end of the year. Everything does add up, like I said, and it's amazing how much we are able to save just by taking the time to make some proper research and to buy things where they're cheaper. It's that simple. And that, my friends, is all. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If this is the case, please like it, share it with someone who might need it or might benefit from it. Leave a comment down below and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I wish you a very lovely and happy and healthy 2023, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.